Hello, this is Safe State, and I am here to go over the current any percent route that we have come up with. There's been some changes since it came out, and this is the most recent up-to-date version. It involves a more consistent setup, and it uses the original file names that points to the current cutscene value instead of the previous, or instead of the next, like we did for a little bit there. But for starters, let's go ahead and start with the file name. It's going to be English 8.4, middle keyboard, this character, dash, and then we're going to grab this character, add some dashes to it, go to this keyboard, grab this character, grab this character, add this symbol to it, and then the letter V, and that'll get you there. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go over a couple of watches here. So this first one, this is Link's facing angle. This will be relevant when we're setting up our slingshot angle. This next one, this next one here, this is your controller 1 input. You're going to want to make sure this is set to a specific value whenever we're executing the payload, and we'll go over that later. This is controller 3. You want to make sure that controller 3 is 0802 8080. The leading 0 doesn't show up in GZ, just as a heads up. You can do that by resetting your controller in the top right and rubber banding it to the bottom left side, and holding down the C left and D-pad up buttons using by whatever mechanisms you have available to you. This next one, this is going to be where our slingshot angle, the slingshot seed angle ends up being, so we'll need to watch that, make sure it's the right value. This next value here, we're just going to make sure that it is equal to 1 for E. You can see it down here after the heat manip is set up correctly. That's just sort of like a hint saying that you got the initial heap set up correctly. This next watch here, this will tell us whether or not the rock is being drawn and if our payload is currently executing. And then these two right here, these are just to make sure that you got your name correctly in the menu. That should be 080475E4, A43C, A5DA. And this last one here, this is a pointer to our current cutscene, and you'll see that updating as the payload is executing. Alright, so after you've save warped and you have everything you need to start, you'll want to start setting up your heap. And to do that, we're going to get into position over here. Make sure the camera angle is about this direction. You can give it a little bit of leeway, left or right, but not too much or else it won't work. And then you'll just hold back, side hop to about right here, and then you'll charge your spin slash and start backing up. You release it once the Deku Babas load, and then you go about right here. You pull out your slingshot, charge it, side hop twice, cancel it, do this once more, and you'll see our indicator value go to 1 for E, which means we've set up the heap correctly. And then you're going to want to west over to the circle rocks, and you want to destroy either this rock or this rock. I think both of them work, but some folks have had more success with this one. Next, you're going to want to go to the crawl space so we can perform walking while talking. And once you're in here, you'll before you get in here, you'll want to talk to Navi, because she'll yell at you, and if you try to see up, which we will have to do later while you're in walking while talking, then the game will soft lock. So make sure you talk to Navi first. So go ahead and go into here, and then immediately come out, hold bottom right, and then mash A. You'll talk to the sign, and then you can use Deku Nut to destroy it, and press B to get through the text. From here, you'll want to target the sign and then get into the corner. That way you are set up with a consistent angle and a consistent position. Make sure you pause and then unpause, or if you don't, then you'll soft lock when you try to press A. You side hop 4 times, pull out Ocarina, and then hold up and then mash A. And then this will have you backflip and side hop. And then once you side hop, you're going to want to hold left and mash Deku Nuts. And then you'll climb the fence. Oh, whoops. And then from here, you're going to want to hold up left and then side hop twice. And then you'll keep holding up left until you fall off the ledge. Pull out Ocarina once you're down, and then target the sign. And then once Link fully turns around, you'll hold back right until you step into the bushes twice. Then you backflip 5 times and side hop twice to the right. And then from here, you can actually walk a little bit to pick up the rock before the camera gets too far away. And then you're going to take it on an adventure. So go ahead and go to the top right behind this pillar here, and then you'll hold up for about 3 seconds. And then you hold right until your HUD flashes. That means you've crossed the gap in the ground. And then you'll hold. And then from here, you're going to want to hold bottom right for about 2.5 seconds, and then you're going to want to hold slightly above right for 4 seconds. So 0, 1, 2, switch, 2, 2, 3, and then hold up after that. Sorry, my counting was off. And then once you hit the loading plane, or the room change, you'll want to immediately hold down, or else you will potentially hit the Deku Baba. And then from here, you're just going to want to line up the camera to be about perpendicular to this wall here. And then you're going to start walking down once that happens. So you're coming from here, you're going to want to slightly turn it so it's about perpendicular, then overshoot it just slightly, and you'll see how the camera starts snapping to that angle, so you can get C00. So I'll curve it like this, slightly overshoot it, and then it hits C000. This is a little bit of an advanced way to get that angle that you need, but an easier way is to, in this hallway, just go about this approximate direction and then hold ESS up, and you'll snap to 8,000. And then from here, you can just flick to the left, and you'll get C000. And then the same thing you can do over here, where if you go up this far, and then you turn around, and you start holding ESS up as you get close, you'll snap to 4,000. And then you can flick down to get C000 again. Drop your rock, and your heap, drop your rock, and then you should be good to go. If these 2 rocks are missing, that means you did everything correctly. You're going to want to destroy these 2 rocks, and then we can set up our slingshot angle. Make sure you pick up any items you drop. Try not to look behind us, because there's a rock up on the ledge that we're going to be using, and if you look at it before we're ready to look at it, then the game will crash. So after breaking the rocks, you'll want to come to this fence and climb up about right here. Pull out Slingshot and hold right for 7 frames. So this is what that looks like. And you can do this through pause buffering, or you can do it RTA. That'll get you the angle of 5D A3. You can see it on our angle watch down there. And then from here, you're going to want to go into C up. And before you do, though, notice how Link puts down his arm with his slingshot. You want to make sure that he puts it down all the way. And you can tell the animation is over by the way his body twitches afterwards. So after you're in C up mode, you're going to want to hold the Y value of -31. And you can tell you're at it by looking at your rupee in the bottom left. If your rupee is just touching the top of the waterfall, just like that, then you know you're at -31. This is what it looks like at -32, a little bit above it. And then at -30, you're just not even close. So that's how you can tell you're at -31. Once you're here, you're going to want to press A, and then immediately after, press the slingshot. So you're able to hold this position on the Y value, and you're going to want to hold it for 2 frames. Just like that. And then once you're at this position, you're going to want to hold full up on your control stick for 1 frame. And then keep holding full up, but then you're going to want to hold slingshot for 3 frames. Just like that. Once you're in position, we're going to need to hold a couple buttons to execute our ace payload. And that whole sequence of buttons is going to look like this. It's going to be L, D-pad left, R, C up, C down, A, you'll see how our controller 1 value is equal to 823C, and then a value from the control stick. And that's what we want. But we want the value from the control stick to be 7F, 7C, and you can't quite hit that, so you have to reset it in the bottom left. And then you have your 7F, 7F in the top right. And then to get 7F, 7C, you just start slowly rotating it to the right, just barely. And you can sort of just like figure out about where it is if you have GZ, and just sort of wiggle it in that area until you hit it. And you just need to hit it for 1 frame. However, make sure to not go too far down, because the value here, 7F74, this has been known to give bad values sometimes and cause a crash, so make sure to not go too far down. Just need to be in that top corner area. And if you just want to start out slow, you can just slowly rotate it instead of wiggling it until you hit that value. So we know the value of the controller to execute our ace payload, but we can't do it just yet. We need the rock visible on screen first. So what we're going to do is first hold L, D-pad left, and bottom left on the control stick, which is neutral, and then unpause. Press B in the unpause lag, hold C up, C down, and A. We're going to rotate to the right to walk towards the rock. Once it's visible, we'll hit the top right, and then we'll start slowly rotating until we hit our value of 7F, 7C. So all together, it's going to look like this. And there you have it. That's how you credit warp with the new method of rotating the control stick. Much more consistent, and personally I'm a fan of it, because you can set up a lot of it pretty quickly once you get used to the motion. It's just bam, 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 bam. Alrighty, I hope that helps out with y'all. As always, thank you to everyone in the Ocarina of Time speedrunning Discord, especially the folks in the SRM and Ace channel, for all the work put towards this new credit swap method. I'm sure a lot of people will prefer it to the other one where you have to hold -1 on the control stick and reset your controller and get specific values and all that other junk. So have fun and happy running. So something to make a note of is there is a potentially faster alternate setup for the slingshot angle. Like normal, you destroy these 2 rocks, and then you make your way over to the ramp over here. So after climbing up onto the ledge, you'll get the angle BAE5, and you can ESS to angle E515. And from here, you're going to want to buffer right for a number of frames. I'll just show you the position. It's a little bit further than this. You want to buffer to here, 5DA6 you'll see is your facing angle. And then from here, it's the same setup as normal. Go to C up, find -31, and then you'll buffer that for 2 frames. And then from here, it'll be the same, but you can actually start with holding down right instead of starting with neutral, because you just go off the platform immediately. Well, if you weren't bad like me when it crashed, you can see my slingshot seat angle was slightly off, so I should have paid attention to that. Anyways, that's just an FYI. If you're trying to really optimize your time, that might be an alternate thing you want to go for, since it seems to be a little bit quicker in both travel distance and the amount of time it takes to look at the rock.